With doing so many runs in Dark Souls, I figured it was time to spice up my relationship with it, and what better way than playing a modded version of it? Which brings us to Dark Souls Age of Sunlight, created by Judge Impact. This mod adds over 12,000 new changes to the game, brand new spells in all magic types, new weapons, new armor, bosses have new mechanics and second phases, and that's just scratching the surface of what's been done. So, seeing all these, I knew I needed to give this mod a shot. With this being the Age of Sunlight, there's no better run to start with than a faith-only one, leading me here today to see if I can beat Dark Souls Age of Sunlight while only leveling faith. Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more crazy runs like these or just like seeing me suffer. But more importantly, let's talk about today's sponsor, NordVPN. We have all been there when trying to look up information on games that we're playing or trying to find ways to mod our games, like in my case with Neo, that we can come across some questionable websites that we don't know if we can trust or not. But lucky for us, and myself, I teamed up with NordVPN. Most gamers are not aware of how dangerous it can be clicking on unverified links that can lead to malware or even phishing. With NordVPN, I can use Threat Protection Pro with its advanced browsing protection to check websites for me to make sure I'm not clicking any website links that could lead to me ruining my computer. It also stops dangerous ads from popping up, and even checks your downloading files for malware. Let's say it does find any malware, NordVPN will then remove those files before they can even harm your device. Yeah, you heard that correct, devices. NordVPN isn't just for computers, you can also have it on your phone or even your tablet. They even protect up to 10 devices. Threat Protection Pro has been a lifesaver for me when doing research for runs, by making sure no unwanted ads pop up, and making sure the sites I get my tools for modding are completely safe. So go to nordvpn.com/Akane and get a massive discount with my code Akane, plus 4 extra months with every 2-year plan. Worried you might not like it? No need to worry, because NordVPN has you covered with a 30-day money-back guarantee on all purchases, so there's no harm in giving them a shot. The link and promo code will be down in the description in the pinned comment. NordVPN and I would like to thank you all for your time, and with that, we can get into the rules for this run. Rule number 1, I can only level faith and no other stats. Rule number 2, no summons. And lastly, rule number 3, beat all bosses. With the rules out of the way, let's get this new adventure started. At the class selection screen, we can already see the new overhaul changes with the previous class's stats, but also the game added 2 new classes, Soldier and Ninja, while changing Sorcerer to Magician and Deprived to Hollow. For this run, I'll be going with the Magician because I'll be needing the 13 in Intelligence and the 12 in Attunement for 2 spell slots. Also, the gift options have changed as well, but I decided to go with the Brave Warrior Soul since there's no Master Key option. I then named my character Sunny D because there's no better fitting name for a Faith character in the Age of Sunlight. With my character made, we start off the journey the same as we always do, the navigation of the world is the same, the mod just overhauls the gameplay. So I pick up my Sorcery Catalyst and talk to Oscar for him to give me his Sunny D. After getting some Estus, it was time for the Asylum Demon. I started the fight with the Soul Dart, which is a new spell added, but it wasn't doing any crazy damage, so I switched to Soul Arrow. A new mechanic that was added is that spell cast now costs stamina to use, so the player can't just spam spells willy-nilly. For the Asylum Demon, the only change I noticed is that he has a new 3-swing combo, which did almost kill me, but after putting some distance between me and him, he went down shortly after. The new thing here is that all bosses get boss souls that can be exchanged for weapons. With the Asylum Demon slayed, I make it to Firelink Shrine where I go down the elevator shaft to find the chests are now in new locations, which means chests and item placements will be different this time around, so I'll have no clue what's inside of them. I did get the Morningstar, Talisman, and a new miracle spell called Way of White Corona. Looks like I'll be spreading some Corona across Lordran, but first I need to get my faith up, which I got to 19 thanks to all the souls I had on me. The Corona spell is a magic flying disc that will slice through enemies while going through walls and will come back to hit enemies. This is just like Gale's disc attack in Dark Souls 3, but for me this feels like being Krillin from Dragon Ball and I'm here for it. With that said, let's see this new spell in action with the new Taurus Demon. It deals decent damage. The tricky part of using this spell is to get the disc to hit the boss twice, since it can hit them on the way in and on the way back out. Why are your eyes glowing red? What in the fucking hell? Oh, hell no! Ah! Well, as we can all see, Taurus Demon is now acting like a fire demon and has some major hops. He can even make lava puddles with his slam attacks or do a mini explosion with them. Insanely cool changes, I'm really digging this new fight, but alas, Taurus Demon was no match for my Destructo Disc. After that fiery new fight, I run into Solaire, and I'm sorry to say, there can only be one jolly man spreading his Sunny D around, and it's going to be me. With taking Solaire out, I get his Sunlight Talisman, which has a new effect of giving the caster more defense and poise when using it, as indicated by the body glowing yellow. With that done, I make it to Andre, where I found out that casting weapons can now be upgraded, and the upgrading system has been made to be more straightforward. You only need to get one Ember this time to reach a weapon's max upgrade. With the elevator to Undead Parish unlocked, I was ready to try my luck with the new Stray Demon. It was a complete disaster. So the Stray Demon traded out his AoE for an Earthquake attack that will follow you. He can cast rock projectiles now, and he has a new sweep attack if you get too close to him. After dying 3 times, I called it quits. At this point, I just got my Faith to 25, so that means I can go to the Sunlight Altar and get good old Lightning Spear, which means we need a new boss to test this on, and no better boss than the Bell Gargoyles. From what I can tell, the Gargoyles act the same, but both Gargoyles have full HP bars. Now, this seems scary at first, but from the few hits to the first Gargoyle, his HP is lower than his OG fight, meaning they have given some of his HP to the other Gargoyle. Fortunately, I was able to survive most hits thanks to the Sunlight Talisman's poise and defense buff, that I was able to survive long enough to get the first try. After the fight, I figured I would go get the Fap Ring with the good old Spartan kick technique, but come to find out, if you kill NPCs this way, they won't give you their items. I see the modder is trying to stop me from being tricky, but I bet he didn't see me using the ladder skip. Haha, I win, modder. Ow, fuck! After escaping the abyss, that is Karma, I was ready for the Capra Demon, which Judge Impact was kind enough to remove the dogs from the fight. Didn't stop me from using the high ground though. I watch Star Wars, I will always use the high ground to my advantage. Also to note, enemy placement throughout the map have changed, so you can run into enemies that normally would have never been there in the first place. With that said, I head down into the depths to take out a Channeler with my fancy Destructo Disc, slicing him from the front side and back side, giving him that Frieza treatment. Once done slicing and dicing a nerd, I ran into a fellow weirdo who was so kind enough to sell me the Lloyd Shield Ring. The mod adds a good bit of items from DS2 and 3 and a few brand new ones unique to the mod. With that done, it was time for the Gaping Dragon. So Lightning Spear is just going nuts at the moment, but the really nice thing about the Gaping Dragon being so big is that my Destructo Disc can hit it twice. Really good when you can get a headshot with it. The only thing I noticed different from this fight is that when the dragon charges, it will now follow you instead of just going in a straight line. It might not seem like the bosses are that much different, but just stay with me, they go nuts later on. To not draw out this fight any further, I take out the dragon with my Lightning Spear. After the fights, I get my Faith to 38 and make my way into Blighttown the normal way. This just feels so wrong and not right at all. But thanks to Dark Souls Bingo, I know how to navigate this section very well. Thank God fall damage has been reduced, or at least I think it has, because I have no clue how I survived that fall. With now being in Blighttown, I hunt some leeches, which now drop raw Titanite gems. Also, if you are wondering why my health is slowly recovering, it's that humanity now heals you over time instead of all at once. But the main reason for farming is to get large Titanite shards. With having 6 of them, I can get my talisman to +3. Since casting now costs stamina, I made sure to get the Chloranthy Ring to help with that, meaning I was ready for everybody's favorite spider boss, Quelaag. So Quelaag has a few new attacks. Her AoE is smaller but much more badass looking. Her claw slam attack is fancier, and her spider can now shoot out fire projectiles at you. Now it's possible there are more changes to her moveset, but I ended up killing her fairly quickly thanks to the Destructo Disc hitting her from the backside, like we all would. On top of this, I got a no-hit as well, but don't worry, I get my ass handed to me later on. Right after this, it was time for her brother, but this isn't the same old Ceaseless fight. This time, he's an actual fight, and you can no longer do the entrance tactic to one-shot him. Ceaseless has a multi-hit slam attack that leaves his arm wide open for hits. He still has his beam attack, but the hitbox on it is so much cleaner that you can actually dodge it. He can summon multiple fire projectiles out of his stomach mouth that come falling out of the sky at you, and he can heat up his nub arm for a slam explosion. Hands down, the biggest glow up for a boss. Amazing work by Judgment Impact to take a boring boss and make it actually a fun fight. I had a few close calls with Ceaseless, but I was able to make it out alive with my Destructo Disc and Lightning Spear combo. With the siblings dealt with, I get my faith to 50, and with some leftover souls, I buy the Crest of Artorias, allowing me to join the Cat Covenant, push Shiva off a ledge, and then kill his bodyguard for the Wood Grain Ring. After obtaining the one true ring to rule them all, I head to Sin's Fortress, where enemies are now placed in some fun places to make the traps more interesting, but nothing can stop me since I am on my Krillin arc right now. Not only did enemies and items get changed up, but the mod also has bonfires moved to the locations that help reduce run back times. After resting, I bust some giant balls so that I can bust some golem balls. So for Iron Golem, I didn't see any new attacks. The only thing I noticed was his hitboxes were a lot cleaner. The fight was very short-lived thanks to Lightning Spear just melting his HP bar. With the Iron Golem bested, I get my faith to 55 and professionally navigate through Anor Londo, but upon seeing a new chest, my monkey brain kicked in all of a sudden and just open it before getting to the bonfire to just get eaten alive by a mimic. Thank you, Judge Impact. Once inside, I found a chest with Sacred Oath. Sadly, it won't really be used, but a spell that will be used is Binding Bolt, which I picked up in the Painted World. Binding Bolt shoots out a lightning orb into the area and after some time explodes, dealing really good damage, and of course, with getting a new spell, it's time to test it out on a boss. Off the bat, using the spell, I noticed the orb will deal damage to the boss if it's touching them, so you can actually get damage from the orb and the explosion for higher damage. With just Binding Orb, I was able to get half of Priscilla's health off, but come to find out she can heal herself. Well, fuck me then. Also, to note, if you get close to her, she will show a quick glimpse of herself revealing her location. But I found using Lightning Spear has high poise damage that I was able to just knock her out of it with that. Tragically, I got a bit greedy and ended up dying. So with learning I could just poise stun her with Lightning Spear, I just abused the shit out of that, but don't worry, Binding Bolt becomes the MVP of this run later on. Now with Priscilla defeated, I can go to Mr. D, where he will have a Frost spell thanks to me beating Priscilla. On top of this, I can get the Soul Appease spell as well. Frost Breath shoots out a cloud of frost that will deal tick damage to those who are standing in it. Soul Appease makes a barrier of light that will damage enemies that walk or are in it. Very good against hollows and skeleton enemies, but there's one more spell I need to get, and that's by defeating Gwyndolin, who apparently has a new and improved Kamehameha spell. Great! To add on to this, he shoots multiple arrows that will spawn on you, his magic missile barrage no longer hard tracks you, which is nice. He has a soul arrow attack, and when he gets to half health, he will summon homing soul masses, and when you get super close to him, he pulls out a giant magical sword, making him the powerful sorcerer he was always meant to be. Plus side to all of this, he doesn't immediately teleport away when you get next to him, so you can actually have time to hit him. The downside for me is I ended up dying 2 times, but on the 3rd attempt, I was able to survive the onslaught of magic attacks to smite him down. With Gwyndolin taken care of, I can buy the Dark Moon Piercer, which is why I needed the 13 intelligence to use it. The Dark Moon Piercer is a long-range thrust attack with crazy poise damage, which will be perfect for the next fight with Ornstein and Smough. Off the bat, I found out Ornstein's dash attack is now a new lightning flash step attack. Really cool, but it hurt a lot getting hit by it. And this does seem to be the only new move he had in Phase 1. So I paid him back by poking him with my large magic piercer. Actually, with how long the range is on this spell, it was actually really easy to bait out attacks from Ornstein to get hits in, giving me no trouble to finish him off with a good old Destructo Disc. For Phase 2, Smough has combined 2 of his attacks together, his overhead slam into a swing, and once past half health, he can charge his hammer for a giant electric slam attack. Those are the only changes I noticed. Sadly, I ran out of the spells with only having 2 slots, leading to me using my sword, leading to me getting cocky and dying. So for round 2, I switched to Son of the Firstborn for more miracle damage and Dark Moon Seance Ring for a 3rd spell slot. Tragically, I still lost in a matter of seconds. But in round 3, I made it back to Smough, where Destructo Disc came in clutch with being able to go through pillars. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to kill, so I had to use Lightning Spear, which surprisingly did good damage. So it seems boss's resistances have been changed as well, but thanks to that, I was able to finish the fight with no issues. With ONS defeated, I get my faith to 64 and place the Lord Vessel, which means it's time to make my way to Nito, but first, Pinwheel. For Pinwheel, I went with using Binding Bolt for its AoE damage to hit as many clones as possible. Except, Pinwheel this time around goes buck wild with summons and can even summon the red floating heads that can explode, creating a very chaotic and disorienting fight. But luckily, Judge Impact made it where Pinwheel's lanterns glow red so you can see which one is him. And thanks to that, I was able to just get by with the first try. After the fight, while on my way to Nito, I find Heavenly Thunder. Heavenly Thunder summons lightning from the sky to smite down enemies and has a chance to double tap them, and y'all know what that means, it's time for Nito. Let me get this out of the way, Nito kicked my ass. I ended up dying 10 times. I thought going in with Soul Appease it would deal multiple ticks of damage and permanently kill the skeletons, but sadly it only does one hit of damage and it does not permanently kill the skeletons. Now let's get to the crazy new moves Nito has. He can spam his range poke attack multiple times in a row, which is unpleasant. He can summon a poison cloud. At half health, he will start sprinting after you, and he can now combo attacks together. To add to this, he can apply Disease, which is a new status ailment that will reduce the amount you heal and stamina regain. It was a very hellish fight. The trick to winning this though was using Binding Bolt to take out the army of skeletons while trying to nip Nito from time to time. Once the army was taken care of, I switched to Lightning Spear to attack from far away. When I ran out of Binding Bolts, I switched to Heavenly Thunder to take out the skeletons. After that, I just kept spamming bolts hoping I would win, and it paid off. I never thought Nito could ever be this scary, my lord. After that win, I decided I wanted to get Divine Pillars of Light, which the wiki for the mod said Ingward had it, but apparently he doesn't. So instead, I started farming Titanite chunks, and while farming, I found a new ring called Ivory Sorcerer's Ring, which increases spell cast times. It will be very crucial for this run. Once getting 4 chunks, I upgraded my Talisman to +5 thanks to getting a slab in the Tomb of Giants. It was also at this point I royally fucked up. So when talking to Patches, I told him I was a cleric by mistake, which made him hostile. The reason this is bad is that he sells Splintering Lightning Spear, and with him now being hostile, I'll no longer be able to buy it. So instead, I got it on another character to show it off, and as you can see, it summons a multi-lightning strike from the sky. I'm just so mad at myself about this because look how easily it takes out an army of NPCs. I really wish I got to use this on some boss fights, but it is what it is. With that said, I move on to the Firesage, who was not playing around with summoning lava puddles, or fiery butt slam farts and heat-seeking fire explosions, accumulating to me dying 4 times. Trick to this one was running like a little bitch and spamming Lightning Spear until I won. When in doubt, run away and spam range attacks. Which now brings us to Centipede Demon, but right outside the boss room a body appears giving you the orange charred ring, allowing you to run on lava but with no tick damage this time, a really nice touch, which made fighting Centipede Demon actually enjoyable. I didn't notice any new moves this time, but Binding Bolt was doing some serious damage by getting double hits off, allowing me to finish off the bastard with some well-timed lightning spears. After this is the Bed of Chaos, which was made easier by cleaner hitboxes and for the fact the floor leading to the final spot doesn't break, making this fight way less tedious, and I will take it. Something that I forgot to mention is that the game has coins, and a silver coin when used will increase the amount of souls you receive. I would try my best after boss fights to get this off. Speaking of fights being less tedious, the Hydra is no longer a pain in the ass to kill, making it a lot easier to get the Crown of Dusk. I also at this time got great Lightning Spear because if Lightning Spear is this good, I can only imagine what its upgrade version can do. Bringing me now to good old Sif to test it out on, and I was not disappointed by the damage. For Sif, she did have a new attack where she jumps and it looks like she flips, but I ran past it and didn't see it really well and killed her shortly after that without seeing what it actually looks like. like, whoops. Either way, with having the Covenant of Artorias, it's time for the 4 Kings. The 4 Kings now appear 2 at a time. This seems crazy, but they will only both attack at the same time if you are right next to both of them. So if you separate them, they won't be an issue. No, the real issue is that they can input read when you cast magic and will dodge away, making this fight hell. It was also tricky to get the timing down to hit them, leading me to run low on spells and end up dying. They do have new attacks once reaching phase 2. They can shoot at a purple mist that will eventually explode, kind of like the Demon Prince's toxic attack. The real crazy one is that they can turn invisible and pop up on you doing a grab attack or an AoE explosion. I ended up dying to them 5 times. Honestly, no trick for this win, it was just pray and hope they don't dodge away when casting a spell. I just got good RNG and was able to pull it off on my 6th attempt. After the fight, I once again checked on Inward to see if he would sell the spell, but at this point he doesn't sell anything, so I have no clue how to get the Divine Pillars of Light. So instead, it was time to get Lightning Stake, but first, Sanctuary Guardian. Most of the Guardian's attacks are the same, but once at half health, he will summon 3 Lightning Homing Soul Masses. After his charge attack, he will follow up with the spin attack, which he didn't do in phase 1, and when he does his flying dive bomb attack, instead of stopping, he'll do a 180 and shoot a lightning ball at you. Told you, shit was going to get crazy. Just wait for the rest of the DLC bosses and Gwyn. So my first strategy was to use Dark Moon Piercer for the stuns, Frost Breath for the tick damage, and Destructo Disc for the multi-hits. But that didn't go as planned. Frost Breath just wasn't working well and really only seems to do good for stationary bosses. For the other 2 spells, they just weren't doing enough damage. So on my 3rd attempt, I just said fuck it, let's try Greater Lightning Spear, and to my surprise, it did insane damage while stunning the oversized cat, basically letting me stun lock him to death. I was not expecting that the lightning spells would be strong against a lightning boss, but I won't complain. After the fight, I get Lightning Stake inside of the boss room, which I will now show off on Ceaseless. And as you can see, it's just as busted as the one from Dark Souls 3, but Ceaseless wasn't having any of that, so his ice crystal attacks now explode, killing me in one shot. Learning my lesson that his crystals can explode, I just aimed for his tentacles instead, making it a very short fight. Bringing us now to the legendary knight, Sir Artorias. Off the bat, baiting the jump attack and then casting afterwards still works for getting hits in. But Artorias said fuck that and started buffing himself right away, but I said no and put a stop to it, because Lightning Spears plus Ivory Sorcery Ring is just busted. I also brought Dark Moon Piercer to poke him in the bum, which made him really mad, understandably, so he started summoning Dark Orbs at me. Too bad for him, they were easy to dodge. The only thing that stopped me from a no-hit first try was my own hubris of wanting to get a butt poke kill, leading me to getting hits in the process. Luckily, I still got the first try, but how amazing would it have been for Sunny D, the Jolly Knight, to defeat Artorias by poking him in the bum? The ballads they would have sung would have been fantastic, but alas, we must move on and learn from our failures. Which leads us to Manus, Father of the Abyss. Manus phase 1 was very normal and Binding Bolt was melting his HP bar, but once at half health he summons his room-wide AoE attack, which I thought it was going to be the normal one, but come to find out they go all the way in this time, so you need to iframe them to actually dodge it. Also, his sky attack is different with more menacing looking magic spikes, but the real kicker here is when you beat Manus, he has a second health bar phase where he has this crazy revival transformation. Now he can shoot his magic shotgun, but it's now a heat-seeking attack instead of a straightforward shot. To add to that, he can slam his staff down, launching dark magic explosions at you, and he can combo physical attacks into magic attacks, throwing me completely off, leading me to die. Round 2 was just extremely disappointing. I didn't even make it past phase 1. The key to winning this fight was using Binding Bolt to lower his health halfway, and then using Lightning Stake into Greater Lightning Spear to finish off phase 1. For phase 2, I started off with Binding Bolt to get a hit off after he revived. I then go into Great Lightning Spear for big damage. With only a fourth of his HP left, I went for a gamble from Lightning Stake after he slammed his arm down, and sure enough, it obliterated the rest of his health, earning me the win. We're not done with the crazy fights yet though. Up next is Kalameet, which at first looked like it was going to be an easy win, but come to find out at half health, this mofo buffs himself up, dealing way more damage than before. In this new buff state, he can move faster with some of his attacks, he can rebuff himself at any time which surrounds him with fire, he can shoot fire as he's flying at you, and oh yeah, he has a special beam cannon attack with his red eye. Fucking cool, but fucking scary at the same time. I ended up dying 8 times, and I got close a few times, but tragically dropped the ball as usual. The trick in phase 2 was to take advantage of his special beam cannon attack. It takes him a long time to recover, so if you iframe the attack, you can get free hits in, like Lightning Stake, and the final attack to look out for is when he stands up on his hind legs. With just these 2 openings, I was able to smite the mighty dragon that is Kalameet down. Which now brings us to Moonlight Butterfly, who has a new orb attack that will fall at you and explode, and her missile attacks are a bit different, but I killed her so fast I really didn't notice too many changes. I thought now with being buffed up, Stray Demon would die quickly, but apparently this dude gets a stone armor buff at half health, stopping me from 2-shotting him, so I said fuck it and finished the fight off with a bang. With only 1 boss left, I leveled my faith for the last time to 96, which will drive most of you crazy that I didn't get 99. Once done leveling, it was time for Gwyn. The good thing about this new fight is that Gwyn no longer reads heal, so you can actually heal with no issue. But what he does read is my spell casting. I noticed this early on and used this to my advantage to abuse the AI with Binding Bolt. You see, Gwyn thinks when I cast it to jump away, but with it being an AoE spell, he just stays in it, getting double tapped most of the time. This also worked with Heavenly Thunder. The hard part about this fight is when Gwyn buffs up. He can now throw lightning bolts at me, and his sword grows in size, and it's not because he's happy to see me. But hold on, we're not done yet. Once at 1/4 of his HP, he goes nuclear, and I found out the hard way. It took me dying 12 times, but I finally solved the puzzle. So I start with Heavenly Thunder to lower him as much as possible and pray to get 2 hits in. After that, I switch to Destructo Disc for some chip damage and for the fact I can hit Gwyn through the pillars as he's casting Lightning Spear. After a few shots, I go to Binding Bolt for the big damage. When Gwyn goes into phase 3, I would use Binding Bolt right before his nuke goes off, and I iframe the explosion while he takes double the damage from my attacks. After doing this a few times, Gwyn only has a sliver of health left, allowing me to finish this run off how it started, with good old Destructo Disc. Officially conquering this challenge of Faith only in Dark Souls: The Age of Sunlight. This was an extremely fun and refreshing run. I am super excited to try out sorcery and pyromancy runs in this mod. I didn't mention a lot of the changes, there was a whole bunch like with resins and other stuff. Just know there were so many changes that it felt like a brand new experience, and I highly recommend you check out the mod. I'll have a link to it down in the description. With all that said, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, hit that subscribe button. At this time, I would also like to thank my channel supporters. If you too would like to support the channel or have your name in the video, you can click the Patreon link in the description or click the YouTube join button. I also from time to time stream my runs, so you can catch me streaming on YouTube or over on Twitch at Arcane Gaming. I want to thank you all for watching, and until next time, take care.